This painful stomach ache hit me. It was so strong that I was crying at night. My mom was going to take me to the emergency room because I was feeling really bad. Inez R., age 17.
We feel dizzy, suffocated from the sun, tired, and weak. Susanna N., age 16.
Child labor is defined by the International Labor Organization as work that deprives children of their childhood, their potential and their dignity, and that is harmful to physical and mental development. While many agree that labor is harmful to the health of children, many migrant or immigrant families are forced to send their children into the workforce for the additional income. The loose regulations of the tobacco industry create jobs for many undocumented workers. While children working with tobacco can suffer serious health consequences and educational drawbacks, many families have farming heritage or simply do not have enough money to support themselves. Because of the duality of this issue, the new president and Congress must address child labor in the tobacco industry in 2017. The farming and agriculture industry is one of the most dangerous in America. The tobacco industry is particularly hazardous because workers are exposed to nicotine, a poisonous compound that occurs naturally in tobacco plants. This exposure to toxic chemicals causes many laborers to develop acute nicotine poisoning, commonly known as greenleaf sickness. We called Representative Cicilline of Rhode Island, who has previously introduced legislation on this issue.
These children were working in very hot conditions and did things like harvesting tobacco plants as well as applying toxic pesticides. And as a result of this, children were experiencing very serious health consequences: nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, dizziness, lightheadedness, headaches, and sleeplessness while working on tobacco farms.
Nicotine is both liquid and fat-soluble, so when workers go into a wet field covered with morning dew, they are absorbing even more nicotine into their system than usual. These toxins are absorbed and not only have short-term effects, such as rashes and wheezing, but also can cause changes in heart rate and difficulty breathing, which can lead to death. We called Dr. Thomas Arcuri, a director at the Center for Worker Health, to discuss the severity of the health implications for child laborers.
Children aren't just small adults, they're children. So all their systems are developing. So if your neurological system is developing at that point and you're exposed to neurotoxin and to nicotine, that can have greater effects.
Education is a necessary tool in order to succeed. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon stressed the importance of education in September of 2016.
Education is a human right and universal good.
By working on farms instead of being in school, children are risking their opportunities. When visiting Reed Mackey, he explained how children's education is affected by them working in the tobacco industry.
You show up on school after a weekend of working and you're completely exhausted and you've got a full day of schoolwork ahead of you. So it's just very challenging. We think that 2 out of 3 children in agriculture in these migrant communities, we believe that 2 out of 3 drop out of school. The federal data is really bad.
According to the Global Partnership for Education, children that are in school for even 1 additional year have the potential to increase their earnings in the long run by 10%. Delegate Alfonso Lopez from Virginia also spoke about the effects working on tobacco farms has.
It's about the sort of hard choices we're having to make, or these kids and these families are having to make regarding making money, helping support their family, or attending school.
Education is significantly impacted when children are working on tobacco farms. While there are many people that believe child labor in the tobacco industry should be banned, there are still many who believe it is necessary. We visited Chris Middleton's family farm to discuss his experiences working there as a teenager.
I think more teenagers should experience the same sort of thing.
Families with tobacco heritage have a very different approach to this issue compared to migrant or immigrant families. Due to the loose regulations of the tobacco industry, many undocumented children are able to find jobs out on the fields.
Where there's the most extreme poverty, we're also going to see the highest impact on the child labor sector.
The work may be dangerous, but according to Poverties, most of child labor is caused by the imperial need to survive. Alexandra Hall of the Washington Post spoke on her experiences writing an article detailing the reasons why child labor in regards to tobacco is such an accessible industry for immigrants.
Latino families, undocumented families, immigrant families do this work because not a lot of other people will do this work.
Child labor in the tobacco industry is an issue that is rarely spoken about and often not given the attention it deserves. Children working in tobacco fields deal with serious health and educational implications that stay with them for life and keep them in the cycle of poverty.
I don't think that the solution is to say, okay, those people can't work these jobs. It's that you have to legitimize them.
Regulations, in addition to adding tobacco to the list of hazardous industries, must be put in place to protect laborers, especially those as delicate as children. Because of the many layers of this issue, the new Congress and President must address child labor in the tobacco industry in 2017.